Hello and welcome to another deck profile. Today I'm doing the top 4 list for the UK Nationals traditional format event. If you don't know what traditional means, it means that every band card's at 1 and the rest of the band list is as it is. I chose to play 60 card Light Swans because, well, not necessarily Light Swans, you know how it goes, because it can run more band cards than anyone else. So I think I'm running like 26. It's got a really good matchup against a lot of things because all the deck has a lot of utility, so it works well against things where you don't know what you're going to go against. I'll do stuff like matchups and there's a whole bunch of stuff at the end, but I know you want to see those dank band cards. Let's start with not band cards. Wolf the Light Swan Beast. I wanted another card to mill, especially with like all the precision milling you can do, and I want another card you can send off Painful Choice, so they always add this card to my hand, and maybe would add a third. The full Pred Plant package. So this is really good because you can do broke stuff like make the Curious off of this to send Vanity's Emptiness, to then make like Nightmare Griffin, to then set it again, which is great. It's basically searching Vanity's Emptiness, except I arrived super late to the event for whatever reason, and I completely forgot to write this on my deck list. So this just resulted in all sort of Predator Plant things, which was still kind of really, really good. Next up you have 3 Snow. You're playing 60 cards, Grave-based deck. Have to run that, shouldn't need to explain it. More standard 60 card things, which is the whole zombie package. I wanted some normal summons, and like they just did all the things I wanted them to. They made Omega, they made rank 4s. This popped a whole bunch of things, which is really good. So yeah, the zombie cards were really, really good. I wouldn't cut any of those. Next, the one-offs that are required for all the things, just for the main combos. You can't really go out there. Maybe out Goblinberg, but I wanted just him in there, to be honest. The hand traps, the main normal hand traps, this is particularly good, especially with all the big scary draw cards, and then I negated a Painful Choice and a Pot of Greed with Ash Blossom Joy Spring, so that's pretty good. Then the first 2 banned cards, Max C, draws cards, should be playing it, and then Chaos Emperor Dragon, because I have Snow in my deck, so yeah, this card is kind of really good. Next up, spell cards. Not banned at all. Brilliant Fusion, but it's really good to require for the combo. And then let me tell you about Left Arm Offering. Left Arm Offering searches a whole bunch of actual banned cards now. So this made the whole thing a lot more consistent and was absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the main reasons you should run this deck in a traditional format. Next, 2 Pot of Desires. I maybe could have run a third, but I wanted to include more banned cards, so Pot of Desires was there. It was good, don't get me wrong. 2 Gold Sark, maybe could have run 3. I wanted it there to hit all the big things like Vanity's Emptiness, like you don't know what you're going to have to pop. So Gold Sark can either be a pop or a special summon, which is really good. And the utility on that card is fantastic. More one-off cards. So all of these aren't banned, fairly standard, fairly good cards. Can't complain. All searchable via Left Arm. Now we get into the banned cards. That Grass Looks Greener. The whole reason we run 60 cards. It's not banned in this format, so you run it. Then Painful Choice, the most broken card. Select 5 cards. Your opponent then chooses one of them. The remaining 4 go to your grave. That one card goes to your hand. So most of the time I would send like Wolf, Snow, Rex, Solitaire, and like Mizuki. And my opponent would, actually, every time he gave me Wolf. You can send like, or choose like 5 broken spell cards, but every time I went Monster on that one. Dimension Fusion, because twice I opened Brilliant Fusion and Predator Plant, and then Predator Plant searched me this, which is really, really good, and Left Arm could balance your entire hand for monsters for this, which came up, so that's broke as you like. Next, Pot of Greed. Please just read the card. Stop asking me what it does. You know what I'll get over it. Graceful Charity. To draw cards and discard cards you want cards engraved. Card Destruction, because it draws cards, discard cards, you want cards engraved. Mirage of Nightmare, because it draws cards, discards cards, and you want cards engraved. Except sometimes you can banish this with Snow, so you don't have to discard the cards. But sometimes you don't, sometimes you do. All just really good cards. And then Pot of Avarice, because you're playing Grave-based deck, so it can shuffle in things. You can do the Brilliant Fusion more than once. That's really good. That, and then one more kind of Monster Reborn, Premature Burial, which worked out really well. Then the 3 trap cards are run. Sixth Sense. I always called 3 or 4 on this, because if you draw 3 or 4, that's pretty broken. If you mill 5 or 6 in this deck, it's pretty broken. But 1 or 2 is going to be iffy regardless. Every time it got played, it was a 6, which was I guess. Then 2 copies of Vanity's Emptiness, because they're really good, like Saki 1-0s. I didn't run a lot of the other ones because, like, space, even in 60 cards, the stuff like Trap Dust Shoot is kind of at some points, and lots of the other ones are. So those are the ban cards around. If we go on to the extra deck next, more not ban cards, but these are the only 3 links I played apart from the Griffin. They all came up, they're all good, they're all recyclable. Maybe I would want another link once it's generic, but these were pretty good as it was. I was expecting like True Draco and a whole bunch of like other random stuff, so this deals with problems. So that was really good. Then the best card in extra deck, Shockmaster. Out of all the decks I saw, I was the only one playing like a deck that could make this. Like Dino could have, I guess, but like it was really, really good. And every time I summoned it, apart from one, which I'll tell you about a little bit later, I won the game. So that's good. Shockmaster, broke as you like. Tornado Dragon, because it hits anything you need it to. I expected some back row decks. I wanted diversity and sort of utility match deck. Dagasta Emerald, didn't really need it. It draws cards, but then it doesn't do anything. It draws a card and then doesn't do anything. You don't need to recycle a lot in this, so maybe I would cut this. The Marvel Chain. So this is Curious 2.0, or the original Curious, or the original Beatrice, or however you want to do that. And it's really, really good. And at one point I did stack Chaos Emperor Dragon, use its other effect, and then pot greed to draw it, which was broken, as you would expect. NX Saber Evoker for the brilliant Fusion Predaplant play. Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. I was missing my 15th card as I was paying, and I didn't know what it was, so I just wrote Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend because I thought it gets over a Masterpiece and deals burn damage and deals a lot of special summon monsters, so it should be okay, but I never used it. 2 Omega. Realistically, you probably shouldn't need 2 Omega, but it can come up. Like, I think Omega gets inherently more valuable in this kind of format because it can rip broken ban cards out of someone's hand, so that's really good. But yeah, Omega was okay. Black Rose Dragon, just because blowing up a field for ban cards is really, really good. And then the one Seraph Knight for that play. That's the extra deck. Then the side deck, I expected True Draco. There were True Draco, there's a lot of True Draco. It was the most represented deck in the tournament, actually. So 3 Gammy, 3 Twin Twisters, because I expected a bunch of back row decks, and there was a couple, there wasn't loads, I think there was 1 or 2, but I think this was definitely relevant. Then every single game I sided out that and that for that guy and that guy. So yeah, like these were just better in a lot more situations, especially with all the broken ban cards and everything that activate from grave. Dweller is amazing, and Exton's great because your opponents can end up with a lot of advantage with the ban cards. So I really should have run these 2, but these are on the side. Don't ask me how this happened. But yeah, so that's how those 2 work. Then more back row hate, but banned back row hate. Cold Wave, Harky's Feather Duster, and Heavy Storm in no particular order. Not in this order, at least. Yeah, they were just really good. They worked out well. I sided them in once, I think. I can't even remember if I did. Not banned, but it does deal with front row decks. And then 2 more that also deal with front row decks. So these came up. They were really good. Maybe would main them, maybe wouldn't, I don't know. And then as the judge was checking my deck list, he said there's only 14 side deck cards. Would you like to add one? Literally just looked at the Forbidden Limited list and went for the first one that I thought wouldn't be trash, and it was Delinquent Duo. And this thing came up because I sided it in versus Dino. It wasn't Dino, Draco, and I hit Pot of Greed out of his hand, and then he discarded Masterpiece. So that was really, really good. So that's the list. We're going to matchups. Round 1 I had a bye, which was a godsend because I need to build the deck. Round 2, I faced Dino. Game 1, he just absolutely screws me, does denglong things, all sorts of stuff. Game 2, I literally set that and summon this boy and win, because you just can't out that. Game 3, oh Jesus, they've gone everywhere. Game 3, he we do a little bit of back and forth. And then all of a sudden the tide turns when all of a sudden, yeah, I drew that card and I stole Conductor and there I won. So that was really good. And then True Draco was my round three. Round three. And he kept summoning Masterpiece that wasn't immune to monsters, including at one point, no diagram up. He got rid of it was lose one turn and like Heritage to summon Masterpiece when I had this on board. And then I just stole it. I don't know what was happening there. But yeah, so against True Draco, I think I 2-0'd him. Even with all these useless cards in here against that matchup like Vanities. But yeah, it worked out really, really well. And then my final match was against Frog FTK. If you don't know what that deck does, it's just infinite spamming, infinite like recursion from grave, and then they use Card of Safe Return to draw almost infinitely. Game 1, Snow's a really good card, and I win just because he can't do anything. Like literally make a turn 1 board and he can't crack it, so that's great. Game 2, I watch as he goes. I kind of knew how the deck worked, but not really. And as soon as he saw Mass Driver, I just like, yeah, I'm done. That's good. In Game 3, I brick really hard. And I end up having to go left arm my entire hand away for Dimension Fusion to then bring the monsters back. And then try and do something. But I was taking a little longer than I should have, I have to admit, and then the judge said you had to make a play, so I literally made Shockmaster pass. He managed to make under Shockmaster, TG Hyper Librarian, and smacked over it, and there was a little bit back and forth, and it ended up coming to his turn as he top deck card a Safe Return with a whole bunch of stuff in grave. Not a whole bunch, but a couple already. And yeah, just from there, it went downhill because he just drew infinitely. He had like a 10-15 minute turn, and we both knew that time was coming. So all he had to do was just keep going. He actually had no deck at the end, as time was called, which kind of irritated him because he didn't have enough engraved to kill me. So yeah, I lost the time procedure. But yeah, there you go. I think the deck performed well. Obviously, there are some changes that I need to make. But yeah, it worked really well. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching my 60 cards deck profile that I came 3rd, 4th. I'm probably going to say 3rd with that one. I'm proud of myself. Yes, thank you very much. Ta-ra.